and that also can sell things. And what does it mean that they're selling an idea? I would rather them sell I Can't Breathe and Black Lives Matter than Nike and Coca-Cola. Now, the other piece of that question is, how do we follow that up with political education and consciousness? Because in as much as it becomes a trend that people don't understand, it's actually useless. You're right. But what's so interesting, and why I'm so excited to be here with you all, is that now when you go out, you are going to spread that word. And I can tell you that even though there are attempts to commodify Black Lives Matter, in fact, Twitter, when BLM was trending, and they projected Black Lives Matter on their wall as they do with trending things. And, you know, I was curious to see what people would say, and I wasn't going to pop off. Twitter, you know. And people popped off. People were like, oh, do Black Lives Matter to Twitter for real? Because they only have 2% Black employees. That's how we know this is a movement and not a moment. People are doing the work. That's deep to me, right? So again, I would say, let's think about how we use that to our benefit. Because in as much as what we see and what we experience is being reflected back to people who may or may not see and experience those things, that's an opportunity. The other thing I'll say is about the industry. So I'm excited for someone to take up the project of organizing celebrities. Because a lot of them are conscious, but they're in an industry that doesn't allow them to be so. Why do you think Prince was a symbol for so long? He was like, oh no, you're not going to take this. This is my name. So as long as I'm in this contract with you, I'm not going to use my name. You're not going to make money off of my name. That's a conscious brother right there. Right? Kendrick too, although we need to strengthen him. Also need to be brought in, because otherwise what they'll do is the other stuff that we don't want them to do, because they can make money doing that, right? So how do we bring them closer, and how do we get them to keep putting out messages? Why is it only Talib that's considered the conscious rapper, right? Like, let's create more of those. So that's what I would say. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm going to take two at a time because I want people to be able to, I want to be able to answer all of them. So I'm going to take you and I'm going to take this one.
Thank you, Alicia, so much for being here. I think it's great that there's a lot of allies here in the room, and so I want to speak more to what that means to be an ally in Senate. I think there has been actions and marches in San Diego where it's been a majority not black, right? And I would wonder if some certain actions or marches are black-led. And then I remember you saying the flip to that, and I'd love to hear you speak more to that and what it means to be an ally.
Yep. I'm coming to it.
My name is Curtis Howard. I'm a former gang member and formerly incarcerated. So this is a gang question. I was a member of the Crips here in San Diego when they first started. Actually carried the very first casket of gang-related between the Crips and Bloods many years ago. I served 15 years in Pelican Bay Prison. And in the SHOOT program, in isolation as well, as being a part of racial, excuse me?
Can you tell people what you mean by
it's an isolation unit for people who get involved in incidents inside the prisons. Okay, and at as a result of being involved in lots of racial conflicts that I encountered. Lots of racial. Prison is very racial. And going in as a member of the Crips and having these experiences kind of enlightened me, the transition. And as I was sitting in Pelican Bay, I said, I'll never go out when I get back to the community and never be a Crip again against my people because of racism, my experience in there and all the wars and everything that took place with me behind bars. So I transitioned from that state mentally. Now I have a lot of comrades as well, Crips and Bloods, who have also transitioned from that state of mind and that are back here in the community. So my question is, what type of role do we play in Black Lives Matter? How do you use us? And keep in mind that a lot of us are used to action. A lot of us don't really like to talk too much. I went to a rally for the Eric Garner down on the 15th, and I ran right down on the freeway. You know, come on, everybody. You know, I'm down with that. You know, let's take action. Let's do something that really that's going to make them. So a lot of us are into that. We don't like to go to a lot of meetings and talk a lot because every week we go to these meetings and go to these meetings. Hey man, let's go kick something off. But now, it's not to say that we're ready to run out there and just spontaneously without thinking and just do something, but we are that way. We are ready, you know, for some action, but it's more controlled, you see, because we made that transition. We're not just going, let's go do a drive-by in La Jolla, man, over Arizona. But we want to know, you know, how can you use us? Can you inject us into something, I mean, like really quick, so that you don't, and what role can I play in the community as well with my people for Black Lives Matter? I'm a writer too. My book is called Cellmates and Sellouts, and I'm on Facebook. Kanye West blog. My name is Curtis Howard.
Curtis Howard.
Yeah.
I need to write that down.
Cool.
Ooh. Okay. Okay, so y'all both just dropped huge questions. Let me start with yours. So the first thing I would say is, how long did you spend in Pelican Bay? 15 years?
I did 15 years overall. I did about 3 years in isolation and general population.
So the first thing I'm going to say is that this is a marathon and not a sprint. This movement is a marathon, not a sprint. So, I too don't like to be in a lot of meetings. I like to do stuff. My partner knows I'm sitting in these meetings like, seriously? Right? But here's a couple things that I think could be possible. So one is, we need to connect. Because there are a lot of folks out there like you that need to know that this is their movement too. Second thing that I think is profound, and I would love to talk to you more about this, is, you know, you all have a code of conduct, a way of being. And there's a lot that you have to offer to communities who are trying to think about community safety. Like, what would it look like not to bang on the people before the people? That's the kind of stuff I think about. Now, we've had different life experiences, so I can't say how that could happen, but I bet you could. And then the other thing I would say is, there are a lot of people who need to hear your experience. A lot of people who need to hear your experience from your voice. So I want to figure out together how we to make that happen. It's a long process, as you know. I wish it was a thing where I could say, okay, but I just need you over here, right now. But you're going to have to figure that out for your context, your community, right? But what I think can happen is you can be a model project for how it is that we secure and police our own communities. So let's marinate on that together. Yeah, I want to get your contact before I go. Yeah, thank you for your question. And y'all give this book. Okay. Role of allies. I really don't like that word ally. It just doesn't mean anything to me anymore. Allies. I'm down with the cause, except when it makes me uncomfortable. I'm down with the cause, except when it makes me uncomfortable.
Attorney, you're going to need your organization, you're going to need attorneys to be your allies, you're going to need teachers to be your allies.
No, certainly. Hold on, let me finish real quick. I'm not saying we don't need friends. And I'm not saying we don't need people to play different roles, because certainly we do. Absolutely, we need teachers, and lawyers, and doctors. We need people that can do all kinds of things. You're absolutely right. But I don't like this word ally, because it has come to lose its meaning. What I mean by that is, I have a lot of allies that are nowhere to be found when I need them. You know, in this thing that we're doing right now, I see a lot of folks be like, I'm an ally, and then a window gets broken. And they're like, well, I'm not down for that no more. And in fact, I want y'all to go to jail. It's deep. It's deep. Let me tell you this. 14 people, including myself, on Black Friday, stopped a BART train for 3.5 hours. Not because it was fun. It was actually really scary. BART is our metro. It was scary. We chained ourselves to the BART train during a stop, which they're about 30 seconds. So that train could have moved. That train could have been like, listen, I gotta keep doing what I'm doing. If y'all crazy fools want to do this, that's on you. We didn't do it because it was fun. We did it because our people are being killed. We did it because we said we need to stop business as usual. It's the biggest shopping day of the year. Why are people shopping when we're being killed? 4.5 hours in honor of the amount of time that Mike Brown laid just steps from his mother's home, bleeding out. Because, you know, even after he was shot over 10 times, he was still alive. He was denied medical attention. 28 minutes because every 28 hours a Black person is murdered in this country. So we stopped this train. We used it as an opportunity to educate our communities. We used it as an opportunity to interrupt business as usual. Because on BART, our BART police also kill people, like our brother Oscar Grant. And there are things that BART committed to do that they have still not done. I want to tell you that the young boys who were on the platform with Oscar that night cumulatively got a sum of $5,000 for witnessing the murder of their friend. That's the reality. Now, there were people who were like, I'm down with the Black Lives until you keep me from shopping. I'm down with the Black Lives Matter movement until you start causing traffic. Now I think you should be charged and you should have to pay $70,000. This is happening right now. Our next court date is March 18th. Meanwhile, Darren Wilson is free. George Zimmerman is free. The officers who killed Eric Garner are free. Just a few days ago, the officers who killed Ayanna Stanley Jones went free. So I don't like the word allies. I want co-conspirators. Now, conspiracy quite literally means to breathe together. And when we breathe together, we become each other. A little metaphysical, but it's true. We share the same air. Now, for allies to the Black liberation movement, we want to make sure that we are cultivating the leadership and the vision of Black people. It's important. It's important. That doesn't mean there's not a role for people who are not Black. What it does mean is that you commit to supporting and following the leadership of Black folks in relationship to concerns that we have about our community. Now, this isn't the only place where that dynamic happens, as you said. And I can tell you, as someone of consciousness who has been an organizer for a long time, there's a lot of things that I don't go to that are speaking on Black lives, don't have any Black people. I just want to sit with that for a minute. When I see demonstrations and protests that don't involve the community, then I'm like, oh, you're not rooted. Have you talked to these brothers? No. Why are they across the street and you're over here with signs and posters and pictures? That's not being an ally, right? So we need to do some work there, y'all. We need to do some work there. This is not a moment to speak for people, even if your intentions are good. This is a moment to empower people to speak for themselves. How do we do that? By challenging ourselves to step up in a different kind of way. It doesn't mean stepping back and waiting for somebody to do something. I want to be really clear about that. What it does mean is respecting the leadership that exists. And there are many leaders, y'all. I've heard that too. Who's leading this? There's many leaders. But it also means, in my opinion, and in my experience, that sometimes it means that you're not in the front. And that drives some people crazy. I can't take it, y'all. I can't take it. You're doing this thing. It's like, that's fantastic. Where are the Black folks? Because Black folks can do this thing too. Right? So, I don't like the word ally. And I think there's a moment for us right now to challenge ourselves around these words and terms that we use that have lost meaning. Another one that I talk about a lot is like people of color. It's a solidarity term. It's not an identity. It's a solidarity term, right? It's something that brings us together, but it in and of itself is not a thing. So, how can we be better allies? Listening. Listening. Stepping back so that others can step forward. Supporting people and stepping forward. There's a lot that keeps people from doing that. You know, we have a mandate inside of BLM that we want to develop and cultivate the leadership of Black trans folks. It's important to us. We have to understand there's a lot of barriers for people to be involved. We understand that by listening. So, we think we're all cute, creating an all-Black space, all gender, intergenerational, right? Like everybody's welcome, right? And when our trans brothers and sisters come to the space, we're like, yeah, this feels good, but I haven't been in a space like this before. I need some time to marinate on this, because the only all-Black space that I've been in was jail. That's deep, right? So listening, stepping aside, maybe it's not stepping back, it's stepping aside. Sharing resources, and not always having to be the voice. Even if the voice is new and shaky, that's what we need. So yeah, let's be careful with that allyship thing. Let's conspire together to get free. That's what we're here to do. Yeah? So thank you for that question.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. We brought up like multiple times like this difference, like organizing something specific, right? And then it's very obvious, like it isn't flyering business model, right? It isn't just selling newspaper report, right? And like with media stunning events, it made it seem as if this was something spontaneous, but everyone that knows organizing, that took serious organizing chops, right? Because it immediately became proactive, right? It wasn't just like this defensive thing. And I want to know, like, what does organizing look like on a day-to-day basis, and what, if you could go a little bit deeper in what organizing is, that'd be great. Thank you.
I know we have, are we good on time? Yeah, let's do them all together. So I got the question. First order.
Hi, I really appreciate it in the talk, and you brought up something right now in the ally, that in terms of allying till you stop traffic, allying till you disrupt business as usual. And I used to live up in Oakland, and it seems like almost every, we have to deal with it with Oscar Grant, every time that, people get to the streets, sometimes even from middle-class Black folks, middle-class brown folks, or the first ones to, basically want the cops to get thrown on us. And it's almost like we got to reinvent the wheel every time to deal with that. And so I guess one of the ways we try to, or at least, some folks I work with try to do it is saying, like, even if we don't agree with folks taking to the streets, there should be a difference between condemning and disagreeing.
Yeah.
Right, the moment you condemn, you're giving a green light to the cops to bash people's heads in. But nevertheless, we find ourselves always having to make that same point each time all over again. So how might we think about some mechanisms to preemptively already have kind of like even a blue book, a handbook of sorts, if you will, for organizers, besides this question? So we find ourselves arguing back, back at, we're not seeing them all right, this.
That's right. Thank you for that question. I have a lot of thoughts.
Since I'm the last one, I said, you go ahead and answer your question.
I see you. Let's go deeper into the organizing piece. Wish I had more than a few minutes. So the way I talk about organizing is both a science and an art. Thank you, Anthony. Nice to see you. It's a science and an art. Yeah? So what does the organizing look like for us in the Bay? One of the things that we've had to really figure out is how do we create space where multiple experiences can exist. And it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge, right? Having intergenerational spaces doesn't just happen, right? Part of what our organizing is looking like right now is twofold. one piece is fighting our case, which involves building coalitions. It involves giving clear roles and tasks for co-conspirators that are strategic for their social position, right? And it also involves engaging decision makers and power brokers. And by engaging, I mean demonstrating our own power. So, when we learned that there would be a push to charge us restitution, we put out a petition and gathered 10,000 signatures in 4 days. Now, petitions are petitions. Everybody does petitions now. But the point of it was to demonstrate that we had a base that would move and take action. Then we told that base to place phone calls to BART officials, which they did. We also got a little bit of a break because one of our BART board members, in response to a question about whether or not Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks would have been charged restitution, one of our board members said, Rosa Parks did not shut down an entire transit system for 3 hours. That's real. They were right, though. They were right, because it was 381 days. The other thing that we've had to do is place pressure on our district attorney, which is much, much harder. We've also had to engage with our mayor, which is much, much harder. She's new. And the first thing she did in office, just a few weeks ago, was do a ride-along with the police. In her first day in office, she said, police are my top priority, which was certainly a signal to the rest of us.
Right.
We had an uphill battle. In terms of how we do it, we do have long meetings where we debate strategy, where we reassess our strategy over and over again, because conditions change really rapidly. And also, allies can become opponents. It's just the real. So it's a process of understanding how much power you have, really how much power you have, because I think we overassess sometimes. And then it's also a process of capturing hearts and minds, right? So we have tried to use the media very strategically. Opinion pieces, profiles, right? Because a lot of what the misinformation that was being put out there was that we were a bunch of folks who had bandanas over our faces and were running around breaking windows. That seems to be the topic of conversation in Oakland. Now I want to say for the record, I have never broken a window in my entire life. My mama lives in the Bay, it's not what time it is. But there was also a narrative underneath that, right? There's a way in which demonstrations and demonstrators were being characterized as chaotic, quote-unquote, anarchists. Now, people use that term and they don't really know what anarchists are, what anarchists believe. But beyond that, right, it's a tactic. Oakland has seen a lot of protests in the last few years. We were one of the hotbeds for Occupy, so you can understand. There's a narrative that's being put out there. So we had to use the media very strategically. Media can be your friend if you use it wisely. The other kind of art piece that I think is important is capturing the imagination of people. I think something we don't do enough in organizing is pose provocative questions. This is why Ferguson popped off. The main slogan coming out of Ferguson was, which side are you on?